How you doing? How you doing? And how you doing, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Petty, and I appreciate you stopping by today. And we're here, back once again at the rumor mill to talk about some stuff that's going on. And actually just found out a big account that I probably should have been following months ago over on Twitter, which, real quick, by the way, I'm actually using my Twitter now. It's not just me putting links to videos on there. Like, I'm using that. I'm at least posting once a day on it. And I'm actually really enjoying getting into Twitter and being able to interact with people on there. So definitely feel free to check me out if you're using Twitter on there. Throw your boy a follow. I'll throw you a follow. Just trying to fill up my feed, dog. Just trying to fill up my feed. And it has been a memey past 24 hours on Reddit. Or no, sorry, not Reddit. On Twitter. It's been good. But all of that aside, let's actually get into what we're here to take a look at today. So we got a couple of things that I actually want to talk about. So first thing we're going to take a look at is going to be a map that, this was something that was put together by somebody. It was compiled over a bunch of images from past closed beta tests and everything, talking about like CBT 1 and 2. And some other stuff. So like this is, not something taken directly from MiHoYo. This is something that somebody put together after seeing things over there. That's at least my understanding of it. So let's go ahead and take a little looky look. So we'll go ahead and just read this out. So this is a possible early map of unknown island to the southeast of Liyue. Images compiled from CBT1, CBT2, or CBT2, and current patch map files, and an overlaid with Mondstadt as an anchor. So basically, they're saying that they used Mondstadt as like kind of the center point to be able to try and piece all these different maps together to make sure that they were lining things up correctly, sizing things up correctly. So they were trying to put it all together in the best guess possible. Gonna underline the word guess there. It's a big old guess. They did lots of homework, and if you get into cartography and everything, like you trying. So this island, if you're not familiar with it from references from things in game, is supposed to be like a very Japanese themed island. A lot of the characters that are currently in the game that are from Inuzama. I'm probably mispronouncing that, but I completely spaced on the name there. But all the characters that we have in like Liyue Harbor and everything that are from there are wearing things that look very traditional Japanese, like kimonos and stuff like that. So me and I guess literally every other person is super excited to see what they do with all of that. Because Japanese stuff is so pretty. I love it. But this is what the little island is supposed to look like down Mya. And, I mean, if we, remember back to the map that they had not they, but that was floating around, I want to say like 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago. We did a video on it, I remember. But it laid out, where a lot of things potentially might end up being. And this is pretty on par with that. It's not, incredibly different from it. I do feel like this is something that's like kind of zoomed in and is at a much larger scale than everything else we see here. I have a very hard time believing that this island is going to be basically the same size as Liyue. Like, you take off a little chunk and then slap this bad boy over here, and it's going to take up most of that. So I have a hard time personally believing that we're going to see an area this large. I feel like it's this big so that people can see, more detail to it. But I don't want to personally believe like it's going to be a giant old island. Especially with the, size that the mountain ended up being when it came out. It's cool. But not the biggest area. If we're talking about, the size of Mondstadt and then the size of Liyue, and then like, oh, we're getting a new area. Yeah, you're getting about this much of a new area. Like, okay. So, kind of based off that, I don't want to get my feelings hurt, so I'm not going to believe that this is going to be the most biggest, gigantic island ever. So I just want to make sure that we we stress that right away. Now let's go ahead and pull the whole thing back up. Nope, nope. There we go. That's the right way. And there's some other stuff that just kind of seems weird from like a geography standpoint, so it's difficult for me to want to buy too heavily into this. Like this whole north side of the island, like is that supposed to be ice or something? Super white marble from volcanoes that only spit white marble? I don't know. I don't know how an island could exist like this and like occur naturally. Maybe this is part of, you know, some, you know, there, I don't know. So there is, and I did not think to kind of put together or at least have it already ready for this. But I did see some, oh, actually, I think it might be in the, one of the things in the video that we're going to take a look at. But there's been rumors that there's going to be like an icy version of Storm Terror. And so like if this is Icy Storm Dovelin's home, cool. That would make a little bit of sense. Otherwise, it's hella confusing why you would have an island set up like this. Like it just hurts my brain. And like if we're gonna get into like real geology, all of this would have been like this island until Icy Dovlin took that area over and with his icy magic made all of that icy. I just want you to know you're not gonna see an island like that in nature. So magic is definitely at play here. Has to be. I don't know why that's something I weirdly care so much about, but like, I don't know, the island doesn't make sense. It's okay, Patty. It's all right, bro. Just go sit down in the corner somewhere, bro. But other than that, it's pretty cool. I don't think there's enough detail that we're able to get from this to try and go through piece and piece of it. Being able to tell that there's two very distinct halves is, I think, the most anyone can walk away with confidently. So we're not going to try and break down all these small details. Be like, all right, here's what's happening here. Here's what's happening here. There's what I think this coastline is. No. We're just here to go like, okay, there's kind of an island. And I very specifically chose this next thing to be the follow-up to talking about this. So I found this post on Reddit, and it's from 2 months ago, and it aged so adorably, but it has a few other things that we can potentially touch on in it. So let's go ahead and take a look. Don't judge me for there being a bunch of Ludwig in my YouTube suggested, okay? Just don't judge me for that. You know, there should be more like Saikuno and Toast in there too. I don't know why it's just Lud, but hey, that's what it decided to shame me with today. So we're just going to keep driving right past that. So what is this video actually? So this is one that claimed it's Inazumu? Okay, I thought it was but okay. Region characters and bosses leak, and everything in this you can tell is like a super basic recreation and like a 3D program. These are not rendered. You can see how they look really weird and well, not that image obviously. But like if we're looking at these 3D models, you can see how they seem very flat. It's kind of just shapes and color palettes smashed on there. This is so incredibly far from being a finished product. But real fast, let's double check the title. Okay. And who are we looking at right now? That is a, I don't know, potato porcelain version of Albedo. However you want to say it. Again, I'm trying my best, I promise. So the very first thing in this supposed, character leaks for the new area in 1.6 are characters that came out just like recently. So this is a big reason you need to take all of this stuff with the chug of salt, okay? Ain't talking about grains in this house, we're talking about chugs. But these are characters that do come, so it's not like, there's nothing that you can potentially glean from these. But this is the best way I can find to be like, yeah, this is how you should be curtailing your expectations based off of these. This kind of tells us enough right there. But let's look at some of the other stuff that is floating around this, because we haven't seen all of these people yet. Some of them have been rumored, but haven't really seen anything past that. I want to say that this is supposed to be a polearm chick, but before you think I'm saying that with any seriousness, let's just look at a quick comment, if you will. Not all of these are going to be from the Inazuma, are going to be for Inazuma in all likelihood. For instance, the first character in this video is supposed to be Albedo, who is part of the Knights of Favonius. That's correct. Rumored to be a Geobo. No. So even the most sensible person 2 months ago, still wrong. So I wanted to highlight that real quick, and make sure that that's the focus of what we're talking about. And we can check out this other stuff too, but, you know, chug your salt, kids. Chug your salt. Yeah, I think there might be potential names. Okay, well, real fast. That's the most adorable hood of all time, and if that character doesn't have that hood on, I'm going to be very, very sad. But I feel like they need to introduce a new thing, so with characters like her or Razor, you can have the choice between hood up or hood down. I'm just saying. I love that we're giving some characters hoods. Just give us a little control over that, you know what I mean? Maybe it's a hood up kind of day, maybe it's a hood down kind of day. You don't know me. But yeah, like we've seen some information coming out about this chick. I cannot remember her name or anything like that. I want to say, oh, you know what? I do remember that she's supposed to be a Claymore user. But again, remember, they thought Albedo was going to be a bow user. So just, again, chug that salt. But this is also supposed to be a very, smaller character. I don't think she's going to be quite as small as Klee, but a small-ish character with a two-hand claymore sounds like memes that I'm absolutely here for. So, like, if the size proportions are just on a really silly scale, I'm going to love that character. That is definitely getting worked into my teams. I don't care how good or bad a unit they are. We getting them memes. But there's... And again, I know I've seen stuff about her floating around on Reddit, but for the life of me, I cannot remember too much of it. Okay, she's got her little... Oh, she's the other one that works in the store. Like the Happy Bunny or something like that in Leeway. I'm pretty sure. Don't take Petty 100% for that. Why does that look like a potato child? I don't even know what that's supposed to be. I'm pretty sure this is our spooky boy. But again, I don't know. Maybe that's another one that we haven't seen. The dragon's the one that I actually care about. We do have the potato porcelain vampire. Definitely glad they did a little bit more shader work on her, because this is absolutely terrifying. Like, I naturally want to look away from that. Like, don't get me. Don't get petty. I don't want to die poor. Alright, that one was honest. It was from the heart, and it hurt a little bit to say out loud. But again, this is just a good representation versus the amount of information and stuff like this versus what we actually get in the end. So, again, big discrepancy. So, think about this when you're looking at those characters. Ooh, she looks like a butterfly. I do believe that there is strong suggestion she is coming in 1.3. I'll do more digging into her, and we'll try to see if we have enough to talk about, or if we have things that we can meme. Yeah, we know who you were. You can go ahead and just slide off screen. That's Aqua Lady. Groot, but only his. I don't know. I don't know. I really need to get a soundboard thing so that I can throw beeps and bloops over myself. Cause yeah, I don't. Okay, Monster Junk, get out of here. Get out of here. Is this abstract art? Or are we just supposed to like look at this, tilt our head one way, sigh a little bit, tilt our head another way, and then talk about how it makes us feel, or what we see, or how it's a commentary on society? I don't know. I like the green bit down here, though. There's the icy boy. He's coming up. So yeah, that's supposed to be the icy Davelin. So we'll see what actually happens with that. Obviously, everything else we've seen is super potato-y, so I'm sure the version of this dude that we actually get will make us crap our pants, but if we're going to introduce another dragon boss, I'm going to just need you to make it a little less buggy, because we're, quite a ways into the game being out, and on Storm Terror I still fall through his neck all the time. So that sucks. Please don't give us another super buggy boss fight. If dragons are really tough for you guys to do and guarantee that level of quality, maybe pick another boss for the next zone that we get. The only other thing that I wanted to touch on was that there's also some talk about the new region in Uzama not coming until 1.6, which is a possibility, but that would put, a new continent or new zone not coming for several big patches. And that could be true. I think it would be very bad for the game for them to wait like 6 months past launch to release a real new area with as big as the map for Teyvat is supposed to be. I would think in the first 6 months or so, you want to strongly establish what new and future content is going to look like, and that you want to be setting those expectations so people aren't wondering what, it's going to look like, how much content we're really going to be getting in future patches. Is it worth it to be invested in this game? And I think if you wait until all the way for 1.6 to show the very first part of that, really, because I'm not counting the mountain doesn't really count. If we're not really getting any new content until 1.6, which would, potentially be 4 to 6 months away from now, and we're already 3 and some change months past the launch of the game, you're going to lose a lot of your momentum and player base, and you won't see a strong return until that content comes out. So until then, it's rolling some risky dice. That, from a development standpoint, I would not suggest that kind of release schedule. I think that is going to hurt the game more than anything else. The reason that I could see that being somewhat legitimate and them really waiting until 1.6 might be that they want to put more focus in some of the next big patches, be wrapping up storyline in Mondstadt or Leeway. So, I mean, I could see them potentially doing that. And depending on how much and what they do to kind of wrap up all of our adventures so far in Mondstadt and Leeway, that could be really interesting. I just don't know if that's going to be interesting enough or enough stuff for 3 more patches before we potentially get to something juicy. You know what I mean? So we're on 1.2 now. 1.6 is when, when it's being assumed that we're getting the next area. So I don't know. We'll see. What they might do in the meantime as well is in one of those patches, basically unlocking a slightly larger area inside of, well, not larger than Mondstadt or Leeway, but unlocking another area within one of those 2 countries and using that area and space to advance the storyline, kind of like we saw with the mountain. So, I mean, that's a possibility. But again, I don't think that's going to I don't think that's a good strategy in the long run. I don't know if you're going to keep the faith of your fan base with doing it that way. Because you can only give us another little piece of a cookie so many times before when you actually give us a cookie for us to be grateful about the cookie. You might just take it and be like, yeah, you still suck, but thanks for the cookie you finally paid out. Giving me crumbs. So, if they do go the route of releasing, unlocking areas on the perimeter of Mondstadt or Leeway to help with story stuff and everything, hopefully they're really good. That's all I can really say, because if it's just, another couple hundred square feet and a couple of quests and then that's it, that's asking people to wait another 4 to 6 months. It's a little rough, bro. It's a little rough. You should probably give the people a little bit more. But all right, guys, we're going to go ahead and call it there. Thank you so much for stopping by today. I really appreciate your faces. We're doing stuff on the second channel, so if you haven't gone over and subscribed to that, check the link for the descriptions, or check the description for the links below for the Disaster Time channel. Also, feel free to follow my Twitter again on there, because we actually using that now. But yeah, thank you guys so much for stopping by today. Let me make sure my hand's actually on the record stop button. All right, guys. Thank you so much. You have to catch your boy in the next one, because we're out of here. Deuces.